Sorry, I was having a drink. Hi, everyone. Russ from My Amber's 11. Hope you're all safe and well. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, hitting the bell icon so you're made aware anytime we put new content on. As always, we'd like to thank our lovely channel sponsors, Untuck It. Today's guest, he's wanted to get involved for a while. It's taken us ages to get him on, but we finally got him on. It's Jason. Jason Timms. How are we, Jason, my man?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, Russ. Yep, not too bad.
How's I know. How's lockdown treating you, man?
Yeah, not too bad. I've been working, so I've been able to get out and about. So it hasn't been too bad, really. Just
No,
have
it's
a
not
bit
been.
of football on to keep us all going.
Well, and hasn't it's kept us going, hasn't it? Kept us going, to be honest. It's been incredible, isn't it, this season? Mental.
Yeah, very
It's
enjoyable.
yeah, it is. It is. There's a real buzz around the team at the moment, isn't there? I think that's what everyone's seeing at the moment. This is buzz, and I love it. It's it's who knows what's going to happen by the end of the. Where do you think we're going to finish by the end of the season, Jason?
Don't know. We've got 12 games left.
12.
If we all stay fit, Antonio's a big player, and if we can keep him fit,
yeah.
And I think, if you'd have asked this time last year, people were saying, "Do you think we'll stay up?" And now they're saying, "Do you think we're finishing the top four?" So it seems a bit weird. But the same thing I said last year: if Antonio stays fit, we'll stay up, which he did, and we did stay up. So hopefully, it'll be the same this season.
Yeah, well, I think we'll stay up this year. I think we're all right this year, so we'll be all right. But I think if you said to me at the beginning of the season that we might miss out on the Champions League spots, I think you'd have bitten your hand off, wouldn't you? Now we'll be disappointed if we don't get into Europe now, and it's ridiculous, isn't it? How quickly a season turns around.
Yeah,
really weird. Really
we
weird.
Get the next few games out of the way and pick up a few points, and then the running's not too bad after that, is it? I mean,
that last month, and hopefully that last game we might have some fans back in the stadium. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Let's hope that don't ruin it.
Yeah. Well, it's Southampton as well. It's not like we're playing like Man City or Man United or anything like that. It's Southampton. No disrespect to Southampton, but you would expect us to win that one. But yeah, no, it's just bizarre. It's just a bizarre season, as you said. I mean, and then potentially next year, whether it's Champions League qualifiers or Europa League qualifiers or even the Betway Cup, we should have 60,000 fans there for the beginning of the season. It's incredible.
Yeah,
incredible.
Let's hope so.
Oh, make a huge difference.
So. It's a shame we haven't been able to go and see them and cheer them on this year.
Yeah, well, it's typical, isn't it? It's typical West Ham. The first time in about 5 seasons, or probably since, to be fair, since we've moved into the London Stadium, that the team are actually performing to they're surpassing the last season of the Bowden's team for sure. But typically, that one time everyone's, we're on a roll. There's no bugger theirs, but it can't be helped. But as long as the boys can't, I think it's great because obviously with everything that's going on in the crazy world we're in now, not having to worry about West Ham going down is a nice distraction, isn't it? It's like I just don't have to worry about that. That's part of my life. I can just close off and just enjoy it. But as you said, and it seems that all the teams around us want us to get in the Champions League because no one seems to be bloody wanting to win at the moment. We're still, obviously, at the time of recording this, we're fourth. We won't be by the fourth by the time it comes out because just the other teams are playing around us. But who knows? Who knows?
All the games last night all went our way, didn't they? None of them won.
Yeah, I know.
They all looked tired, and a lot of them sides last night. Man United looked out on their feet, didn't they?
Yeah, and that's what people are moaning about already. So people are saying, when we qualify for Europe next season, we won't have the squad depth to go and da. I don't care. We can worry about that next season. Let's just enjoy this season. Typical West Ham fans, aren't we? It's always looking at the grey cloud coming over rather than enjoying the sunshine now. And so we deserve it. We've had a tough old run recently, so it's good to get some, get a team together, a bit of mentality, and they all just seem to want to fight for themselves. That's what I love about them at the moment. They just all got a bit of fight about them. It's really encouraging.
You got to say David Moyes has done a great job, hasn't he, since he's come back?
Definitely.
So I mean, it would have been interesting if they kept with him after his first stint at the club. But where would we be now?
Yes, true. Very true.
Yeah,
Very true. And it's one of those things,
because
isn't
they
it?
gave
It's a great Dave Pellegrini, yeah. But I think it's for me, it's one of those things where it's West Ham. We've always been one of those what if clubs. What if this happened? What if that happened? And you're right. What if Pellegrini hadn't come in? Who knows what would have been? You know, we wouldn't have spent all this money on Haller and Sue. You know, we would have bought in, these more West Ham type signings. Maybe in hindsight, the Pellegrini experiment didn't work. It could have worked. It may have worked. But I think the fact is it was the injury to Fabianski, that one injury changed the whole of that experiment, didn't it? It just affected everything because Roberto
yeah.
coming in and that was it. We were absolutely buggered then, man. Absolutely buggered.
Mm, mm.
Um,
I was at that
but
game, Bournemouth, last year.
Yeah,
When he got injured, I was sitting in with the Bournemouth fans behind the goal. I got a ticket from someone, and seeing when he done the injury, and it was like after that, then everything went downhill, didn't it?
it went all downhill, man. All downhill, and yeah. I mean, yeah, it was. I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it? Football, particularly West Ham, football was one of those things where it's always like what ifs. But hopefully this year, it's not the what ifs, the reverse of what ifs. What is, I don't know. You know what I mean? We'll see. Hopefully, we'll have a good end to the season, and
Yeah.
we'll get into Europe, and everyone will be back, and everything's bright and breezy come August as well. So it's all good. It's all good. So, but yeah, as you said, you've been working as well. I know I've been working. A lot of people have been working and stuff. And yeah, have you had your jab yet? Have you had your appointment for your jabs?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
No, still waiting.
Still waiting.
I should have it done really because I'm a key worker, so
Yeah.
I think the key workers should be more up the front of the queue really, but not that I'm looking forward to it. I'm not
Me
one for
neither.
injections.
Me neither. I'm rubbish. I'm rubbish. I got mine. I was rubbish. I'm not very good at injections at all. But yeah, it was a very small needle. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like a big one. It was a very small one, and that's okay
Mm,
with me. And I did tell the lady. She was telling me
yeah,
everything to do with it. She was telling me all like the symptom, the side effects, and I wasn't paying a blind bit of attention. I was just staring at the other side, not looking at the needle at all, completely blanking her for about a minute. I felt really rude. I apologised afterwards, but hey ho, it's the way of the world now, isn't it? I mean, my daughter's got a couple of days left of homeschooling, and she goes back to school, and I can't wait. I can't wait. So
yeah.
that's
Well, the
very, very
kid's back
good.
next week, isn't it? Yeah.
I know. Then we'll see what
So,
happens. Then we'll
so
see.
how's the
Then we'll
homeschooling been
see.
going?
She's 8, so it's been challenging. Let's be honest, it's been challenging. We've had the mother-in-law here as well, and she's packed up. She's ready to go. She's ready. She's all ready to go tomorrow. So it's brilliant. So it has been challenging, but we got through it. She's been great, and yeah, I think she's actually benefited a little bit, to be perfectly honest. Obviously, in a
Mm.
class of 30, you don't get a lot of teachers' attention, really, do you? You get separated, 30 times, whereas here she's doing one-to-one stuff, and you know, anyway, we digress as we always do on this channel, Jason. But yeah, it's all good. We're on the path. We can see a light at the end of the tunnel. That's the main thing. Let's talk about happier times. Let's talk about West Ham back in the days and stuff like that. Why are you a West Ham fan, Jason? What's your story, man? Why did you become a Hammer?
Well, all my family's West Ham. My granddad was a big West Ham fan, um, and my dad was quite a good player back in the day. He
Yeah,
used to play against Bobby Moore when he was at school and
brilliant.
that, and he was good friends with Bobby Moore. They used to go out together down the Ilford Palais and the Tottenham Royal and places like that, And
Yeah,
Bobby Moore was at my
fantastic.
dad's wedding.
Wow.
And yeah, and then my dad obviously knew Alan Seeley more, and
Yep.
Alan Seeley moved next door. He was his next door neighbour when they lived in Collier Road. So,
Brilliant.
yeah, so obviously I knew Alan Seeley as well. Obviously he's not here anymore, Alan.
No.
And then my dad's also been good friends with Harry Redknapp over the years, and they're still good friends now. They're involved with the racing and stuff.
Yeah,
Horse
yeah,
racing.
yeah.
They've had horses together and dogs together and all that. So yeah,
Brilliant.
so I've known Harry for a number of years. Harry came to my wedding when I got married in 1997 when he was West Ham manager. So
he was West Ham manager at the time. Yeah, that was the golden age, wasn't it? Really fantastic.
Yeah. So so all my family, my brother, all my mates at school and all that, we've all been West Ham fans, and we've all gone like loads of games over the years.
Yeah.
The first season probably was the 75 Cup final.
Brilliant.
75 season with the Cup final. I went to the Cup final in 75 because where I used to live, I was born in Romford, brought up in Romford, and Frank Lampard used to live at the end of our road.
Yeah.
So so he was in the Cup final team. So I met Frank a few times. I knew his daughter and that. So and we got tickets off of Frank for the final. So we all went to the final, and then I went to obviously carried on from there. Really, that was my first season, and then I used to go with my granddad. He was a big West Ham fan. He used to live at Brentwood. I lived at Romford. Used to get the train, meet him at Romford, train to Forest Gate. Then we used to walk from Forest Gate to Upton Park, stand in the old West Side when it was standing, and went to a lot of games. That cup in 1980. I always remember the quarter final against Villa. We got a penalty in the last minute. I was there with my granddad in the old West Side. Then went to the semi-final at Villa Park, the first one, when we drew 1-1. But I didn't go to the replay. It was on the Wednesday, and then I went to the final. Obviously, they were good times. So
yeah.
And then the year later, we got to the League Cup final, and that was good. Went to all the semi-final at Coventry, the final, the replay, all them games, So we had a good side then. Trevor Brugge, and then '86 that was the year I left school, started work. So that season was first sort of working and then going to West Ham every week, and obviously we nearly won the league that year.
Yeah.
That was a great team, wasn't it then? And then obviously since we got relegated 4 years later, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly. West Ham way, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things that,
so we've had some good sides. I mean,
we have.
The side in 2006 when we got to the cup final.
Yeah.
But was a good side. Obviously, the side 5 years ago, the last year at the end was a great side, wasn't it? Payet and co. That was a good season. But then obviously since we moved, it hasn't really gone to plan, has it?
No, not really.
4 seasons there so far, but now obviously they're doing it, aren't they? So
yeah, definitely, and they are. And you're right, man. Yeah, well, long may it continue. I mean, over since as you said, probably since '86, really. It's been a cyclical thing. A goodish season, a few bad seasons, a relegation. I think actually now we've. I don't think we've. Someone says it's something about being in the Premier League for 10 years in a row. We've never done that, and now we're about to do that this season, apparently. Or so it was 10 seasons, something ridiculous like that, or next season will be our 10th season in the Premier League in a row, which is the first time we've ever done that, or something.
2012, wasn't it?
It was a 12 season, it was 11-12, wasn't it? Because my daughter was born in May at Queen's Hospital. So yeah, I live in Hornchurch at the moment, so not too far away from where you were born up, and obviously around there. But and what I love is, what I love is, as you said, it's your dad, it's your family, it's your friends. It's not necessarily about the football, because obviously since '86 there hasn't been, apart from the 2006, FA Cup, there hasn't been much, success, so to speak, but it's about sort of it's the family, isn't it? And as you said, the fact that Alan Seeley was your next door neighbour. You had Bobby Moore going to your dad's wedding. That H went to your wedding, and it's about the community, isn't it, around West Ham? And I think that's what people miss the most. It's great that It's great that we're going to get back into the stadium with the fans eventually. But it's not necessarily about the football, because you can probably watch it a lot better at home on the TV. But it's about going and seeing the mates and seeing you going to the boats or the pubs or the supporters clubs beforehand and having a beer. And that's what I think we're missing. That's what I think people miss. It's not necessarily being at the ground and watching the game. it's the accoutrement, it's the stuff around it. It's everything. It's the whole day, isn't it? And I think I mean, I've bloody got so many bloody beers lined up with people. Oh, yeah, we should have a beer with me. Yeah. I think I'm gonna be pissed all next season by the looks of it. But no, it's good fun. And as you said, it's a great. I mean, you know yourself. I think, as I said before, I think I'm sometimes a little bit biased, but I think we have possibly the best fan base in the country, in terms of just undenying support for a team, because we've won fuck all in 40 years, really, haven't we, to be honest? and still we've got this fanatical fan base, not just in Hornchurch and Romford, but all over the world. But getting up 4 o'clock in the morning to watch the match, for 12 o'clock kickoff in West Coast America. It's mental. It's mental, West Ham. And obviously see it on Facebook all the time, isn't it? All the
Facebook
groups.
Yeah, on Facebook, I get a thing comes up on the day of the match. Where are you watching the game today?
Yeah.
And everyone posting it. And I looked at it last week. I couldn't believe all around Australia, amount of people in Australia, America, all over the place. Just like all West Ham fans all tuning in to watch the game.
It's crazy.
It's amazing.
It's crazy. We have a lot of them come on my live streams like during the week, and we have like there's Neil from Down Under. He's always about 11 o'clock at night when I'm on. Angus, he's in Perth, I think, or Melbourne. They got loads of Canadian people come on the stream. We have loads of American guys. We've interviewed guys all over the world. Really, we've interviewed guys in Hong Kong, in India, all West Ham fans, and it always surprises me because we're a funny little club in East London who's one bugger all, and some guy in where is it? He's in Bangalore. No, he's in Bangalore. So just decided to pick West Ham. Just decided to pick West Ham, and fanatical about it. It really surprised me at times, man. It really does surprise me about the fan base and how fanatic. Could you imagine if we won something? Fucking hell,
Yeah. I could always remember going to the playoff final at Cardiff when we played Palace. The one we want to forget about. And I booked a trip up to go to Centre Parks at Longleat the same weekend. So I managed to get a ticket and I managed to slip off for the football. So I thought I'll get a train from Longleat Station into Cardiff. I thought that'd be quiet. There'd be no one on the train there. It'd be nice to be able to sit down. I got on the train and the train was packed. It was like the District Line train. It was. West Ham fans.
But that was the same. We drove there. I had the same car park space 3 years in a row, in Cardiff, and that drive over the bridge, it was just mental. Just sea of like limousines and with all claret and blue ribbons and stuff like that. It was incredible, absolutely incredible. No, it was great. I used to love going to Cardiff for those things. I'll be honest, I think I preferred it. I think I preferred it. I think just because it was like bang in the middle. Do you know what I mean? It was like Millennium Stadium is in the middle of Cardiff, and so there's loads of bars, there's loads of pubs. I just find Wembley a little bit sterile.
Yeah, the area of Wembley, there's not a lot going on, is there?
Nah. Whereas Cardiff, it was like bang in the middle, and you're in it. And they split the city in half, and I thought it was really, really good at Millennium Stadium, to be honest. But hey ho, doesn't matter. I'm not jealous. Right, let's go and talk about your Hammers 11, Jason. So, as I said, everyone we have on the channel, they come on, they do a Hammers 11. You can pick whoever you want, but the idea is you have to be a sort of alive to have seen these guys play. Otherwise, I mean, I never saw Billy Bonds play. I never saw Trevor Brooking play, so they weren't in my team because I never saw them. I saw them both manage. Trevor Brooking's most successful first team, he's 75% win rate, so he wasn't too bad in the old when he was a caretaker manager, but I never saw him play, so I didn't put him in. So that's what we're going to do now. So let's start. Let's go for the Tim's 11. Who will be between the sticks? Who's going to be in goal for the Tim's 11?
Well, that's a good goalie. The goalie there is good, isn't he? I like him.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Jamie wasn't playing Saturday, really, because that first goal, I think he might have come out for that cross.
But that was the thing. That was the thing about that game. That just shows how far we've evolved as fans this season. We've lost a game, and we were all very happy of losing the game. It's like, oh, well done, boys. Really played well. We lost the game. Well done. 18 months ago, we'd have been West Ham losing, not Gavin, but we had, it was really funny, the change of mentality in our fan set, But anyway, yeah, Fabianski's very good. I think he's a great keeper. I love him.
Yeah.
I love him. But
no, we've had some good goalies down the year. Ludo was good. But there's only one goalie you can have, isn't it? And that's Roberto, isn't it?
Of course, really? Roberto. Yeah. Totally. Nice try.
yeah. No, it's got to be Phil Parks, great goalie. When we bought him in, was it 79? A record fee for a goalie, and he was there for about 11, 12 years, wasn't he? And was in the the ATF Cup winning team and the Boys of '86 season. So Phil Parks is my goalie. Yeah. I mean, I did like Ludo; he was a good goalie, but it has to be Phil.
It was very different, wasn't he, Ludo? I mean, you couldn't have got two different goalkeepers, Phil Parks and Ludo, but obviously they crossed over. So I just thought, I mean, I never saw Parks play live. I mean, obviously seen highlights, but he was very different from Ludo. He was like, I'd say Parks, he was the last of those types of goalkeepers, just big buggers. But very agile. But then Ludo came in. He was obviously more athletic, wasn't he? More sort of, he was big, but he wasn't a big. I don't know how to explain it, but he was more like the modern goalkeeper. But Parksy was just, and he's a top bloke as well. Top bloke, Phil. We're getting him on soon, hopefully, when when all this COVID stuff sorted. We're going to get him on soon, which is good. Well, I'll put Parks in goal. Make a note so don't forget. So put Parks in. Let's go sort of left back. Go left back maybe.
Well, obviously Frank Lampard was a good player. He was there for a long while.
Yeah.
Even Cresswell now, I think he's been brilliant this season, isn't he, Cresswell?
Definitely.
Because a couple of years ago he looked, but now this season he's been absolutely brilliant, hasn't he?
Totally agree.
I like Cresswell, but there's only one man, and it's Julian.
Yeah, Dixie, brilliant player.
What a player! See him all through his career at West Ham. In his two spells, he was 100%, wasn't he? Never shirked to tackle. Seen him win games on his own. That game when we beat Tottenham 4-3 that night, he took that game by the scruff of the neck, didn't he? Scored two goals, didn't he? And put about two crosses in, didn't he, for the other goals? Yeah. That was a great game. That was.
He talks really highly about that game as well, but he was. I mean, he could like take a game by the scruff of the neck, playing left back. Do you know what I mean? It's not like he's not a central midfielder. He was left back, and just showed how much of a good player he was. I just thought he was brilliant, absolutely amazing player.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Let's put Dixie in. Let me make a note so don't forget. Julian, left back. Let's go. Let's go right back. Let's go other side. Who's you have on the other side then, Jason?
Right back. Ray Stewart.
Tonka.
Oh, Tonka. Well, he was there a long while and played in the 80 Cup final team. I remember the quarter final that year. He scored a penalty in the last minute against Villa. A lot of pressure. And then the following season in the League Cup final, he got a penalty then, but he was just a great player as well. He wasn't just a penalty taker. He was a good right back. He was at the club for 10 years, I think.
Yeah, he was. I mean, it was that time where they all were there for 10 years, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It was like one of those things. I think we had Reg, we had Gailey on, and he said once, he said, that when I was there, Russ, it was literally. He said, apart from 1 year, it was someone's testimonial year at the club. Different time, innit? Different time. You don't get those guys who stay for a long time now, unfortunately. So you never really build that sort of. I think there's a reason why we still think so highly of people like Julian, Parksy, Ray Stewart. I mean, Julian's a classic example. Julian didn't win anything with us. He didn't. But because he played so many years and so many games, and he's revered. But in the same way that we'd revere Billy Bonds and Ray Stewart and people like that and Trevor Brooking, because they stayed for a long time, and you get that sort of fans rapport with him as a player, and Tonka's the same, absolutely the same. Love Ray. Right, okay, so put Ray right back. First centre half. Then, Jason. Who we having?
Alvin Martin.
Alvin Martin. Don't need to sound. Yeah, Alvin Martin. God bless him.
Yeah, great player. Another one who was there for years, wasn't he? Played for England. Brilliant player. Won the cup in 80, didn't he? He was in the 85, 86 team. I think he was there till about 92, wasn't he, Alvin?
Something like that, yeah. A little bit longer, I think. I think it was 90. I want to say 93, 90, at least 94. I think he's carried on playing for us. I think, but yeah, he was there for a long time. And obviously, still lives in the area. Still lives in Ormchurch, and for someone very similar to Ray Stewart. I mean, Ray Stewart is very much, I see, as an adopted Cockney, and so is Alvin Martin. Both are not from round these parts, but are legends of West Ham, absolute West Ham legends. And I mean, when Bill had his stand named after him, who did the PA? It was Martin. It was Alvin Martin. He did the announce, and it just shows how much that he was thought of at that time. So and obviously with his son last season, it seems an age ago. It was last season with David, but it was a really, really great one. It's one of those moments that will be in like highlight packages in 20, 30 years time. Do you know what I mean? That hug at Chelsea, and in the same way that Payet scores, and that's the same thing. And it was a great moment, and very, very proud moment for Alvin, no doubt. Right, so we'll put Alvin in. Who's Alvin going to partner in that centre back position, then, my man?
Billy Bonds.
Bonzo. Oh, that's a tough back line. Not getting much past that.
He was a great player, wasn't he? Bonzi, another one who was there for years, captain, manager, absolute legend, club legend. What can you say about Billy Bonds, eh?
I don't know. Not. I mean, it's one of those things with him. I mean, the fact that he's got a stand named after him is usually indicative of what a good player he was and how highly thought of he was by the club. It's about time too. It was done as well. It was well overdue with Bill, but it was great that it happened, and it was great also that it happened when he was still alive. Do you know what I mean? Because there's certain people, obviously, someone like Moro got the accolades with West Ham after he passed, unfortunately. And so, it's like I just think it was the right thing to do. I know how much that Bill took. How he saw how the emotion in his face on that day as well. How much it meant to him. I mean, I've never seen Billy Bonds cry like that. The man was sobbing. Hardest man, at West Ham was sobbing, and but yeah, an incredibly fit man. And obviously, we've had lots of ex-players on who talk about Bill, whether it was when they were playing with him or maybe he was the manager, how he'd still outrun them all at 42 or whatever it was, around Havering, the old Haydalt Forest rather, doing the old cross country. Just brilliant. No, I loved him. He was an incredible person.
I remember him being on Superstars. Do you remember Superstars in the 70s?
No, I wasn't old enough, Jason. Sorry, I'm too young for Superstars.
He was on that, and he come out top on the gym test. He beat all the athletes and everyone on there. He was just. Brilliant. I don't think he done well on the other things, the archery and things like that. But the gym test, he was like.
Oh, I love it. That's so true. That's very, very fit man. I mean, even when he did the stand, he looked like he could still do a job. Do you know what I mean? He still looked really fit for 60, what was he, 65 or something like your old man. He looked fantastic. Right. Right, let's put Bill in. Okay, so actually back for your goalkeeper. Let's move into midfield. Let's go. Let's go the wings first. Let's go left wing first. Who should we have on the left?
Left wing. Well, this one of my most favourite players is Alan Devonshire. So Dev is absolute brilliant player. One of the best players I ever see over there.
Yeah.
Well, say would they pay 5,000? When it from South
£5,000? Yeah.
Yeah, and another one. What a player was there for years, wasn't he?
Just amazing. And what I don't appreciate with Dev until I started like doing this show really more than anything is how he got had that really bad injury, and he recovered, and he basically recovered, and he came back as a new player. He couldn't do what he did before because of the injury, and had to reinvent himself. Now you look today in modern football. I'm not being critical of Antonio, for example, but let's look at Antonio. He's not going to. His hamstrings are like jelly. We know that, but he doesn't. He isn't capable. He isn't capable. He isn't skillful enough to reinvent himself as a tricky winger who's doing step overs and like Dev did, and that took a lot of bottle to do that, and obviously had a fantastic. It's almost like two careers with Dev. I think it's always there's before the injury and after the injury, and both careers were fantastic with West Ham, as you said. Spent many years here now at the club, and just a great bloke as well. I mean, they're all everyone you've picked is a great bloke. Been fortunate enough to interview two out of the five so far, 2 out of the 6 so far, so 30% hit rate. But they're all brilliant of that era. I love, and Dev was a fantastic, lovely bloke, top draw. I just, although he's not very good at the old internet. He's not very technical. I remember having a 10-minute conversation with his wife about setting up the interview, what buttons he had to press and things like that. But no, I loved him. Yeah. I loved Dev. He's a great guy. Great guy. Okay, so we put Dev on the left. Let's go the other wing. Who should we have on the right wing then, Jason?
Well, it's got to be that on the 85-86 team on the right side there, Mark Wald.
Waldy.
Yeah, was a great player, Waldy. I've got to meet him a few times as well. He's a nice fella. I know he's had his problems, but we've got a bit of an interest in the racing and that. So got to have Waldy. He was brilliant that season. I remember watching him in the first home game against QPR that season, and he didn't take no shit off anyone, did he? I think I remember him having a row with someone early doors. I thought, blimey. And then, but he was a great player as well when he scored some good goals that season, and was part of that setup, of that team.
Tenacious, very tenacious player, wasn't he? From what I've seen, like a little terrier. I think Macca called him, little Scouse terrier. But no, he's top bloke, Waldy. Love him.
Yeah,
love him.
He could play in the middle as well. I see him play in the middle before. He was a good player, and he was there 6 years, I think.
Must be. Must be.
No, he was a great player.
Yeah, but he was. I mean, he had a great career with us, and obviously he went. It was Everton as well, and
went to City, didn't he? Then on to Everton.
Yeah, City and Everton. So yeah, I mean, and also that transfer, the Wardy transfer, obviously to City brought in Bish and Morley, didn't it?
Yeah.
So it was a procession of sort of really good players after that. So no, I think he's great. I thought it was great, and I had we obviously have interviewed him as well, and he's got so much, and that's all. I mean, look at all of these. They all speak so affectionately about West Ham and the fans, and how much they love their time at the club, and Wardy particularly. I think he just come off like a 12-hour shift or 14-hour shift when he did my interview. And I said, look, we'll rearrange. He goes, no, because it's West Ham. I'm all right. I can talk about West Ham all day. I'm full of energy now. He's just come off a 14-hour shift or something ridiculous, did old Waldy. But top man. Top man. Right, okay.
He's done a few of them. He compares a few of the shows, doesn't he? Before the game and that. And I went down when David Cross come.
Yeah.
He said he was there. I went down and met him, and I met Psycho and all that. It was good, yeah.
Crossy, I love Crossy. He's such a sweet man. They're all lovely, and it's weird because I've been doing this channel since I think it's been like 10 months we've done this channel, and at the beginning I didn't know anyone. Didn't really know anyone. I knew of some people, but I didn't know Mark Wall or Julian Dix or whatever. 10 months on, I can set. Someone messaged me. Their dad wasn't very well. So I sent a message to Crossy because he was a good friend of his, and straight away, no problem. What can I do? Nothing was any. And it's a lot of people I could say. They've got so much time for fans, and they could easily turn around and go, "No, I'm all right. No, I don't want to." But they don't. They all would drop everything to help a West Ham fan, and it's a wonderful thing to see. I mean, Crossy particularly, I love the original Psycho. He's such a lovely bloke. But yeah, and Waldy, as you said, and that's why people love all the comparing they do. They do the shows. I know Waldy's got one up soon, isn't he? And I do a lot of stuff with Len Herbert and Maudeville, and they have loads of these shows. And there's a reason why people go to the shows, because of the personalities, the charisma, the stories that these guys tell. You might have heard them 10 times because it's the same stories, but but you've got a beer inside you, so they're as funny as the first time you heard them. So no, I love them. Right, okay, let's put Waldy on the right. Let's go central midfield then, Jason. Who's going to be your first central midfielder then, my friend?
Well, there's only one man in the midfield. That's Trevor, isn't it?
Sir Trev. I was going to say, if he wasn't in there, yeah, I thought you'd have to put him in there. Sir Trev. Top man.
Yeah,
top bloke.
Absolute legend, Trev. And a nice man as well, isn't he? He's been a great ambassador for our club, hasn't he?
He has been, yeah, he has been, and for the FA as well. You know, obviously he does a lot of work with the FA. So I just think, and again, you know, look at these players: Devonshire, Waldy, you know, Brooking, you know, and you see the goals and you see some of the skill these guys do, and then you look at the pitches that these guys played on. And it, to me, just multiplies everything they do by about 10. Because, like, you know, I mean, you talk about the 85, 86 goal. When we had Macca on, he was like, go and watch. We talk about football, we talk about London Stadium and, like, the Bowling Green pitch. And he was like, go back and watch us beat Chelsea 4-0 and see that state of that pitch. And it was like, yeah, it was like sand. It was like a beach. And these guys were doing it on that week in, week out. And that's something I've appreciated more was how, you know, the sort of the parameters and how they were doing this stuff, and they were doing Brooking, how he would not have any pace, but everyone says it, his first touch wasn't a touch, it was just like moving his body, and it would go across him.
And little dummy he used to do, wasn't it? Just with the shoulder, and everyone fell for it.
Everyone fell for it. And it's and going back and watching it all, it's so true. It's so true. But yeah, top man, Sir Trevor is. Right, so we got Devonshire, Ward, Brooking. Who's next? Who's next in that midfield?
Well, I've changed it. Last 2 weeks, I've changed it. I did originally put I did put Payet in.
Yeah.
But, after the last 2 weeks, I've changed it to Declan Rice.
I think that's a great shout. Let me find Deck.
Yeah, I mean, he was a great player, Payet. I mean, that season, he was there. The last season at Upton Park, he was unbelievable, wasn't he? Just
phenomenal.
Yeah, probably the best player probably I've seen since Brooking. But obviously, he was only there a year. And he left under a cloud, didn't he? But no, he was a great player. I mean, that free kick. I was at Old Trafford when that free kick went in the cup game.
Yeah.
It's just one of them sends shivers down your.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it really. I know what you mean.
Well. What a great day that was. How we didn't win that game was a travesty.
West Ham way, innit?
If we had VAR now, I think their goal would have been disallowed, wouldn't it?
Well, I think to be honest, Jason, if we're being perfectly honest, with VAR, I don't think half of this team will be playing. So don't worry about that. Julian and Billy Bonds and Marvin Martin and Tonka and Waldy. But yeah, I know what you mean. Pyatt he was a very special player. He was. I mean, for the modern, say for the less experienced fan, we'll call them. I mean, for me, for example, he's the best player I've ever seen at West Ham. Just because I never saw anyone else. So technically, he's the best. I won't say he's my favourite player because I don't think he was. He said in the NBA he was 18 months, but he was technically the best player I've ever seen. And you know, I'm probably ever likely to see in that you're not going to see another Ballon d'Or nominee who's playing for your team when he's nominated for a Ballon d'Or, you know, the world best player in the world, and he ended up being like 13th or 15th something as well. So, you know, the 15th best player in the world was playing for your club. But no, I think it's a good choice with Declan Rice in the middle.
Yeah.
Old Rice.
He's top just boy. Every game now, he just looks better each game, doesn't he? He's just
totally
upping it a level. I mean, even last Saturday against City on the midfield, towards the end of the game, that Jesus had the ball, and he just sort of shrugged him off, didn't he? Like,
yeah,
just won the ball. And I think he's the only one who can actually tackle now in the midfield. Everyone gives away fouls, but Declan wins the ball, doesn't he?
yeah. It does seem that in the Premier League entirely, he's the only. Does I know exactly what you mean. Exactly what you mean. But he's just what I love about Declan Rice is that he's just got this youthful enthusiasm. Do you know what I mean? He's sort of like, if you watch him, because obviously I'm still at the game, I'm still at the home game, so I watch the home games, and someone mentioned it to me once, and I watch him now. Declan Rice walks around like a sulky teenager. Do you know when he's not playing, when he's not running, he's like his arms like all like he's a teenager. It's really funny. And then as soon as like football starts, he's like off and he's like in proper mode and he just runs about but he just has this enthusiasm for the game, which his interviews afterwards. If he's won, he's absolutely on cloud nine. If he's lost, he looked like his cat's died. And just how we feel, is exactly the same how we feel. And I just think he's great. I just think he's absolutely amazing. For 22, 21, 22, he's played 100 and something games. His captains are. I mean, there was no question that he was going to be our captain when Mark's not on the pitch. And to give that responsibility to a 21, 22-year-old, I think we forget sometimes how young he is. But as you said, he's developing his game. He's doing more. He's trying to do free kicks. He took the penalty the other day, didn't he? And stuff like that. So it's great to see him taking on, like, trying to, develop his game a bit more. And hopefully,
even when he runs with the ball now, getting forward, he makes these runs.
a lot.
At Leicester, when he hit the bar. He should do a lot more of that because he seems like he's got everything, doesn't he?
He's a big lad, he's a I think the reason he can do that is because, no disrespect to Mark at all, but he's got a central midfield partner that complements him. Do you know what I mean? Him and Souček, they've got the same workman-like ethic, so they can both go for 90 minutes. And I think last few years of when Mark was a starter, I almost felt like that Deck was almost on shackles a little bit because like he couldn't overcommit because he was worried that maybe, I don't think he was worried, but that's how I saw it. Almost the shackles are off now with him and Souček. There's no disrespect to Mark at all because he's been a fantastic servant for the club, but he's getting a bit old. Mark's great at this sort of 15-20 minute job. Come on, 15-20 minutes to go for 4 hours or something and just tie it up if we're winning. That's all you got to do, and you can do that for another couple of seasons. But I think Deck, I think we've only scratched the surface with him as a player. There's so much more he's got in his locker. I'm pretty sure of that, man.
Let's hope he stays around for a while.
Let's hope to see it. Exactly. Well, Champions League football would help, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
Or maybe in Europa League will be right for Deck. He's only 22. He's got plenty of years. Right. Okay. We'll put Declan Rice in. Let's go. That's 4. We've got the 4-4. Let's go for the 2. Let's go for up front. Who are we going to have up front?
Up front, it's got to be Paolo Di Canio.
Yeah. PDC.
Yeah. What a player he was. See him win games on his own. Before when we beat Arsenal that day 2-1 with that one when he flicked it over Keown.
Yeah.
But,
with his shorts on backwards. With his shorts on backwards that day. Go back and watch that. He has his shorts on. Someone, I didn't realise that. Someone mentioned to me. It's true. He has his shorts on backwards that day because he thought that would help because he always didn't play well against Arsenal. So, where in his head does he assume that actually what will improve my game against Arsenal is putting my shorts on back to front? I don't understand what the thought process was, but that was Paolo, wasn't it? That was Paolo.
Yeah, and obviously the Old Trafford. I remember I was up at Old Trafford in the cup game. Bartes with his arm up. That was a great day. Unbelievable player. So much skill, didn't he? And then the goal he got against Wimbledon, the volley. He got voted the best ever Premiership goal? Was it?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I think it always will be just because of the audacity of it. Just and the planning that went behind it. I mean, we've interviewed Trev. Tricky Trevor, who crossed it in. We interviewed Ian Foyer, the goalkeeper, who was number 2 goalkeeper at the time, and he says that Di Canio was literally out that week before. He made Ian stay out with him for like a few hours after training, and just got some youth team kid just to ping balls in so he could do it and practice it, because it was in his head. He wanted to do it in a game, and to have the forefront to do it, and also during the game the audacity to go, right, we're doing it now, Trevor, over it goes. It's just everything. It's not just the goal itself, but it's just all the parts that lead up to it. Just shows you how much confidence he had, and we'd probably call it arrogance now. If it was another player, not West Ham, we'd say it'd be arrogance. But because he plays for West Ham, it's confidence. It's different. But yeah, he was a showman, absolute show. He was my favourite player at West Ham ever, just because because I go to football wanting to be entertained. I go to football wanting to see some good football. Even if it's the other team, play a fantastic footballers and they beat us, fair play. But Di Canio, you'd go to be entertained. And you didn't know which Di Canio was going to turn up. And that's what I loved about it. The unpredictability of Paolo Di Canio was incredible. But yeah, superb player. Just a lovely and again, in terms of the way they play, the way they interacted with the fans. I mean, we know how much Paolo loves the fans. He always keep. I think the other day, wasn't it, on the Sky Italia, he had his West Ham tie on, and stuff like that. And no, I think he's great. I just think he's. I wouldn't trust him in my football club. I wouldn't. Having spoken to Sunderland fans and stuff about him, but him as a I'd have him as a cheerleader, on the sideline, just running up. But I love him. I love Paolo. He's brilliant. So much fun. And he's one of those players that you talk about him and you just smile before you've even started talking about him, because he just what he brought to us at that time, and what that time meant. That was a really good time for West Ham, wasn't it? Sort of that late 90s, early 2000s, that period, sort of the Redknapp eras, really was a really good time for West Ham, And so, no, he's brilliant. Love him. Right, okay. Paolo's in. We've got one spot left, Jace. One spot left. Who's he going to go to? My friend?
Well, we've had some good forwards, haven't we, down the years? David Cross and Tony Cottee, Dean Ashton. But my favourite is Frank McAvenny. Used to love Frank that season, 85, 86. He was brilliant. Great all-round forward. Used to run his socks off. And it's brilliant. Obviously, that season, the 85-86 season, went to a lot of them games, and remember we went to was it QPR, and I think he just got off the plane, and the night before played in Australia in a World Cup qualifier, and John Lowell said, "No, you're not going to play. No, I want to play." And then he's come up and scored the winner 10 minutes to go away at QPR.
Amazing.
There was some great games that season, and just an absolute legend. And obviously he left, didn't he? Then he come back, and he broke his leg in the first game back that season.
Yeah,
another one. He was never the same, but he was still a good player. Just his class got him through,
Still tried, didn't it? Still gave his all, didn't he? And I love players who still give their all. And again, we've had Macca on as well, and just so much love for West Ham, for the fans and his time there, and he loves it. And again, he's another one who does those, those evenings, and he has, stories they tell. And then obviously we took the camera off and he started slagging everyone, all the current squad off. But I didn't record it during then, but he was slagging them all off. But no, I love Macca. He's a lovely bloke. And again, another guy who, God, if anything happened, as I said, this guy, his dad wasn't very well. Sent a message to Crossy, sent one to Macca. 10 minutes, I got a response from both of them with a little video for him to send to his dad. And phenomenal guys. Couldn't do enough for you, and that just shows you, how much they sort of love the club. Yeah, no, Mac is a top man, top man. Right, okay, so this is the team. Let me spread it. Whoa, there we go. Whoa, that was quick. I have to do this, otherwise, if I don't do this, I don't put the team up, Jason. They all everyone moans at me, so I've got to do it. So we got Parks in goal, then we got Dixie, we got Billy, we got Stretch, we got Tonka, then we got Dev, we got Devon Deck. I like that, Devon Deck. We got Sir Trev, Mark Ward, Paolo Di Canio and Macca. Macca and Di Canio up front. Oh dear. Oh dear. Could you imagine? That they would be on fire, them two. On fire, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, what a team, mate. What a team.
Oh, Di Canio and Dev. Oh, and Brooking. Could you imagine? I like that. I like that team, man. I like him. Jason, man, it's been lovely chatting to you. We've had a really good giggle. 50 minutes has flown by without really thinking, which is brilliant. And thank you. I really, really appreciate your time. We finally got it. We finally got the recording.
Good.
So it's all
finally got there in the end.
We got there in the end. We always do. Good things come to those that wait. That's the point, Jason. But anyway, so thank you. And obviously, thank you to everyone for watching or listening. Whatever you do, whether it's on Spotify or YouTube or Apple iPod or whatever, give us Apple Podcast. Give it a like, give it a share. And from myself and from Jason, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash those hands. Get your jabs when you get your appointments. Come and you irons, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Much love. See you soon. Bye-bye.